Continuing from the previous episode 1130. Fortunately, the crisis has been resolved. Seeing the skeleton below lose all vitality and stay motionless, Qing Wen couldn't help breathing a sigh of relief, but he didn't notice that next to the skeleton, because the silver just now the explosion caused by the destruction of the seat by Xiao Yan turned out to have blown a gap in the entire ground, and under the gap, 3 golden treasure chests stood slowly. Xiao Yan, brother, are you all alright? Seeing this, Qinger couldn't help but ran over and asked the two of them. It's fine, but there seems to be something underneath. Xiao Yan got up and pointed his finger at the gap below. Xiao Yan was also shaken back by the explosion caused by the silver seat just now. Although he found the 3 treasure chests in the gap, he did not rush to do it. Who knows if this evil pharmacist has any shady methods? 3 treasure chests? When Xiao Yan pointed this out, Qinger and Qingwen couldn't help but look at each other. Go down and have a look. The next moment, the two of them had a plan. Let's go. Xiao Yan naturally followed closely behind. What a deep space. As soon as he came to this level ground, Qing Wen couldn't help but say. The ground on which the 3 of them stood, and the gap caused by the explosion had a depth of 10 meters. If the explosion wasn't strong enough, I'm afraid they would not be able to find these 3 treasure chests in their entire lives. 3 treasure chests, exactly 1 for each person. But it's better to open it first to see what it belongs to. After all, what is useful to you is the real treasure. Qing Wen said with a grin. Agreed. Xiao Yan nodded as well. After all, the isolation of these 3 golden treasure chests was too serious. Even if Xiao Yan's soul power was about to reach the fairyland, he couldn't find any clues. Then I'll open it. Qing Wen heard the words, smiled slightly, and wrapped a dazzling power of life and death on her palm, heading towards the treasure chest on the far right. Bang bang bang. Qing Wen's palm just touched the golden treasure chest, and suddenly a series of metal friction sounds slowly sounded. Damn. You can't open it? After struggling for a while, Qing Wen said with a bit of grief and depression. These treasure chests seem to have shackles? And Xiao Yan's keen soul power also found something and hurried forward. Shackles? How is that possible? When Qing Wen heard the words, he naturally couldn't believe it. Look, it's here. Xiao Yan came to Qing Wen, and then his fingers slowly pointed to the middle of the treasure chest, pointing to a rather small gap. It's so small? When Qing Wen saw this, he nodded lightly, but he didn't expect the shackles to be behind his back. Obviously he didn't realize it just now. This kind of treasure chest is extremely sealed. If there is no key, I'm afraid it cannot be opened. Xiao Yan observed it carefully, and then said, Then what if it is forcibly opened? Qing Wen asked, seemingly unwilling to give up. If it is forcibly opened, I'm afraid it will only be damaged along with the treasure inside. Xiao Yan shook his head helplessly. Hey, Xiao Yan, brother, come and see, it's so strange behind this skeleton. Just when Xiao Yan and Qing Wen were at a loss, Qinger's voice slowly sounded. Qinger, what's the matter? Xiao Yan and Qing Wen looked at each other, and then temporarily put down the exploration of the treasure chest and went to the location of the skeleton and Qinger. Brother, Xiao Yan, look! At this moment, Qinger squatted down slightly, staring at the skeleton's corpse intently. Seeing Xiao Yan and the two of them coming over, she hurriedly stretched out her fingers slightly, facing a certain part of the skeleton. Point 2. This is. When Xiao Yan was pointed at by Qinger, Xiao Yan couldn't help exclaiming. Because what Qinger pointed at was the spine of the skeleton. At this time, the spine of the skeleton seems to be different from before. Because at this time, there are 3 spines above the bones of the skeleton, which are incompatible with the others. On the 3 spines are densely covered with some fine lines. The lines are quite complicated, even Xiao Yan, who is a fighting formation master, do not know. This spine seems to be a bit like the shackles of the treasure chest? After a while, Xiao Yan suddenly said, What? When Qing Wen heard the words, he immediately read it seriously. After repeated confirmation, he finally agreed with Xiao Yan's words. Could it be that the vertebrae on this skeleton are the keys to the treasure chest? Looking at Xiao Yan and Qing Wen's uncertain expressions, Qinger said softly. Qinger, you really made a great contribution. Xiao Yan said with a smile. Take one first and try. The next moment, Xiao Yan didn't hesitate. He stretched out his palm and walked towards the skeleton's spine. Crack! With a sound, the sound of bones breaking slowly sounded, and immediately above Xiao Yan's palm, there was an extra vertebra with fine lines. The spine is about the size of a finger, and the whole exudes a terrifying aura. I am afraid that the energy contained in such a small spine can easily obliterate a strong Do-D. Let's try it first, Xiao Yan said just after the vertebra was removed, and there was no change in the skeleton and the pill hall. Yes. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he slowly walked towards the 3 treasure chests. I don't know if it will work or not. From right to left, Xiao Yan said softly. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yan immediately raised his palm and pointed the spine at the keyhole of the treasure chest on the far right. Reading www. Link to youcanshoot.com, cc. The sound of metal collision echoed in the pill hall, stinging the two of them. It's the right size, but it can't be turned if it's inserted, Xiao Yan said helplessly, pulling out his vertebrae. Try this one in the middle. Hearing Xiao Yan's voice, it was obvious that this vertebra was the key to the treasure chest. As for the treasure chest on the far right, the key was not found. After all, the 3 vertebrae and the 3 treasure chests had to correspond one by one. Yes, Xiao Yan heard the words and slowly walked towards the treasure chest in the middle. Crack! Like the one just now, Zaidu gently inserted it, and then turned, but this time, it did not encounter any resistance, but was opened by Xiao Yan extremely lightly. Opened? What kind of treasure? As soon as the treasure box was opened, the entire space was filled with a strong aura of life, which made people's eyes light up. How could it be? It's actually Tianmu. Xiao Yan gently pushed open the lid of the treasure chest and couldn't help but let out a roar. What appeared in front of Xiao Yan was a piece of paper like a piece of wood, only the size of his own arm, but the whole body exuded green light, and a trace of rich life force continued to emerge. At the same time, in the deepest part of Xiao Yan's body, because he is an alchemist, a trace of wood attributes mixed with fire attributes, but like bamboo shoots after a rain, a strong desire erupted. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1131. Tianmu? After hearing Xiao Yan's words, Qing'er and Qingwen looked at each other. Obviously they had never heard of this thing, but they could feel the extremely strong life force flowing out of the treasure chest. This thing is an extraordinary item. I originally thought that I was separated from Qingnu Tianmu, but I'm afraid I will go back and ask for Tianmu. After all, Tianmu is in his body, and I never imagined that he would meet Tianmu here. At this time, Xiao Yan's eyes were shining brightly, and he couldn't bear it. Lave smiling. In the cultivation of vindictiveness, almost everyone has only one attribute. Even if there are special human beings who have multiple attributes, they understand the truth that greed is not enough, so they have created a monotony that has been an attribute since ancient times. Xiao Yan has self-confidence. With the holy flame, he does not need to think about the problems of fire attribute cultivation in the future. On the contrary, if he can completely awaken the wood attribute, then the fire and wood will be two-pronged. And the current Tianmu is the best primer to awaken the wood attribute in Xiao Yan's body. This thing seems to be related to brother Xiao Yan, so let's not take it. Seeing Xiao Yan's crazy expression, Qingwen smiled slowly. Hey, brother Qing, this thing is extremely important to me, and I can't say no to it. I'll find any treasures in the future, it's all up to you. Xiao Yan carefully confirmed this day and then turned to Qing. The clerk laughed. Ha ha ha, brother Xiao Yan, what are you talking about? You are polite. Qingwen also laughed, but he was quite satisfied with Xiao Yan's actions. Not to mention the corpse pill that was enough to advance to Do Xian, but now he has taken away this precious thing. Many of the benefits in the pill palace have been taken away by him. Qingwen is also afraid that Xiao Yan is a white-eyed wolf, but Xiao Yan is so after the guarantee, it is also relieved. Shabu shabu. Xiao Yan carefully closed the treasure chest, and immediately put it into his own ring. In that case, let's take a look at this second treasure chest first. Seeing Xiao Yan's actions, Qingwen smiled. Okay. Xiao Yan heard the words. Zaidu Ru went to take the remaining 2 vertebrae, and slowly came to the 2 treasure chests. I hope there are some good things. Qingwen couldn't help but muttered. He was also afraid that there were no treasures in these 2 treasure chests. Wouldn't it be a waste of time? Be vigilant, I'm about to open it, Xiao Yan said in a deep voice to the 2 of them, and then a spine in his palm slowly inserted into the shackles of the treasure chest. Crack! With a sound, the treasure chest closest to Xiao Yan was gently opened. What is it? The treasure chest was just opened, and there was no overflow of breath or power, and the entire pill hall was quite calm. This is a scroll? Xiao Yan looked away and projected it into the treasure chest. What appeared in Xiao Yan's pupils at this time was a jade-colored scroll that looked extremely ordinary, without any writing. The gold and silver were clear and quite mysterious. This is a good thing. Seeing this, the originally quiet Soul Eater couldn't help roaring. Senior, is this? Although Xiao Yan guessed that this thing might be a bit secret, he didn't expect that even the Soul Eater could be alarmed. This is a roll of ice-based exercises. The Soul Eater said lightly. Ice-type exercises? Xiao Yan couldn't help but wonder. After the strength reaches the Do Xian, many things in the practice and fighting skills will be completely divided. It's like you are a fire attribute, you can only practice fire attribute exercises or fighting skills. The Soul Eater said lightly. Then I can't practice it if it's a thunder attribute kung fu fighting skill? Xiao Yan was shocked. It's not impossible. It's just that after you advance to Do Xian, the power of Do Xian in your body will give birth to attributes. If you practice fighting skills with the same attributes as your own, the power will be greatly increased, but if you cultivate other types, the power will be weakened by a few. 10 times, the Soul Eater said. There is such a hidden feeling. Xiao Yan slowly shook his head when he heard the words. It seems that after being promoted to Do Immortal, both the cultivation technique and the fighting skills have been subject to rather tyrannical restrictions. When Xiao Yan was puzzled, Qinger on the side walked slowly to the treasure chest, raised her jade hand slightly, and walked towards the jade-colored scroll. Be careful. Seeing this, Xiao Yan didn't know what Qinger was doing, but for his intuition, he still said something. See. After a while, Qinger's jade hand slowly touched the mysterious scroll, and then circles of white mist spread out from the mysterious scroll in an instant. Ice attribute grudge? When Xiao Yan saw this, he couldn't help being shocked. Hee. Brother Xiao Yan, don't need to panic, this is just some means of the sister. When Qing Wen saw this scene, he also explained. It's actually of the ice attribute. I'm afraid there is something in this girl's body. Seeing this, the Soul Eater said slightly. The ice attribute on Qinger's body actually makes me feel a chill, this. Xiao Yan could not help exclaiming when he saw that Qinger and the mysterious scroll were both emitting white mist, standing next to the treasure chest. She should have an extremely cold body, so her ice-type fighting chi is naturally stronger than ordinary people. Although this kind of extremely cold body is not too rare, if it is done, it will not be easy to eat the pain of the cold, but in return, I am afraid that there is no one with the ice attribute powerhouse at the same level. Can beat her, Soul Eater explained, and Xiao Yan softly agreed. This, the scroll. I want it. There were bursts of discomfort on Qinger's pretty face, and then she said with her beautiful eyes moving. Are you all right? Qing Wenwen heard the words, walked over slightly to support Qinger, and asked. Brother, I'm fine. This scroll is also of the ice attribute, and it should be of great help to my physique. Qinger's breath was a little weak, and she closed her hands and said to Qing Wen. It's fine. If this scroll can weaken your physical problems, then this trip will not be in vain. Qing Wen said with a smile. Take it. Seeing this, Xiao Yan used his fighting spirit to slowly wrap the mysterious scroll and send it to Qinger. The cold in my body has been aroused by it. I have to go to retreat, otherwise the cold will strike. Qinger did not hesitate. Her little hand tightly gripped the mysterious scroll, and said with a serious face. Go. This alchemy hall has a huge range, you just need to find a good place to retreat. We are also preparing to break through this last treasure chest. Qing Wen said. Yes. Qinger nodded lightly, then exited to find a place to retreat. Next, there is the last treasure chest. And watching Qinger leave, Xiao Yan and Qing Wen's eyes were both directed at the last treasure chest, especially Qing Wen, whose pupils were full of scorching heat. Continuing from the previous episode 1132. Brother Qing, come on. Xiao Yan looked at Qing Wen, who looked a little wary, and said with a smile. He and Qinger have already got the treasure. If there is no treasure in this last treasure box, it will probably cause a big blow to Qing Wen, so Xiao Yan looked at Qing Wen and said. Okay. When Qing Wen heard the words, he smiled lightly. He naturally knew that Xiao Yan sensed his concerns before he spoke. It wasn't that the last treasure chest was dangerous and wanted him to take the lead. I hope there is something. Qing Wen took the last vertebra in Xiao Yan's palm and smiled slowly. Open it, Xiaoyan said softly. Yes. Qingwen agreed, and then without hesitation, her spine was inserted into the shackles of the treasure box without a trace. Crack! With a slight turn of Qingwen's palm, the treasure chest was slowly opened. Boom boom boom! The closed treasure chest was just opened a little, and a dazzling red light suddenly emerged. What an evil red light! And Xiaoyan only felt the contents of this last treasure box for a moment. I'm afraid it's not easy. What a terrifying coercion! Qingwen was under the powerful coercion, and the dazzling power of life and death slowly blended, which was quite uncomfortable. Bang bang bang! With the sound of a few breaths, all the treasure chests were opened, and then Qingwen's figure was also rushed back a few meters away by a tyrannical impact. Xiaoyan was also not feeling well. Although he had already defended himself, he was still pushed back a few meters by the red light emanating from the treasure chest. What is this? As soon as Qingwen stabilized her figure, she cast her gaze on the last treasure chest. Slowly looking at it, standing in the treasure box at this time, it is a jade bottle with a very delicate texture. The jade bottle is depicted with a dragon and a phoenix, which is quite atmospheric, and in the jade bottle, there is a dragon eye size. The elixir stood quietly. The elixir was dark red, while the jade bottle was emitting a faint cyan color. As for the dragon and phoenix jade bottle, there was a large area of red light surrounding it, which was like the power of evil, and it was extremely desolate like a dead aura. It's actually an elixir? Seeing this, Qingwen frowned and said, "This medicine pill seems to be different." Xiaoyan stared at the medicine pill, but shook his head slowly. Soul power, come out. The next moment, Xiaoyan's huge soul power gathered directly towards the pill, trying to use his soul power to find out the true face of this thing. Ho ho ho! When Xiaoyan's soul power just touched the dragon and phoenix jade bottle, a loud sound of dragon and phoenix twinkling came out from the treasure chest. Not good. Protect your mind. Xiaoyan cursed loudly, and then said to Qingwen. Boom boom boom! The loud and clear voice of the dragon and the phoenix slowly reverberated throughout the entire pill hall, like ripples of destruction, constantly emitting. Hoo-hoo, this guy! After a few breaths, the sound of the dragon and phoenix chirping slowly dissipated. It's just some miscellaneous sounds of dragons and phoenixes. Seeing this, Soul Eater said lightly, quote. Xiaoyan was dumbfounded when he heard the words. Even if it was a dragon and a phoenix, it was an extremely powerful pressure for the current self. This should be the work of the evil pharmacist, right? Xiaoyan ran out of means for a while, just walked over gently, and carefully looked at the dark red medicinal pill and said, "This thing, and Qingwen, who was beside him, seemed to remember something, but he couldn't be sure for a while, and said intermittently, I don't know what this medicinal pill does, but it comes from the evil pharmacist's hand. So I'm afraid I can't use the medicinal power of ordinary medicinal pills as an inference." Xiaoyan shook his head. Obviously, no matter what, he could not see what the dark red medicinal pill could do. Mystery. Xiaoyan was also a little helpless. Once he used his vindictive energy or soul power, the dragon and phoenix jade bottle would immediately send out extremely powerful pressure. I remembered. This seems to be the proud work of the evil pharmacist. At the next moment, Qingwen's voice was full of excitement. Brother Qing, what is this thing? Xiaoyan heard the words and cast his eyes towards Qingwen, and found that Qingwen was exuding a frenzy of madness. This is the mad magic pill. Qingwen's pupils were filled with a hint of fiery, and he opened his mouth slightly. Crazy demon pill? Xiaoyan shook his head slightly when he heard the words. Obviously he had never heard of this kind of pill, but according to Xiaoyan's guess, I am afraid that the medicinal power of this pill could not be inferred by common sense. Yes, it's the mad magic pill. As for its efficacy, it can increase the strength of the user in a short period of time. Qingwen said with a smile. Increase strength in a short period of time? Xiaoyan asked rather strangely after hearing this. After reaching Do Di, basically no one uses the secret method to improve strength, let alone Do Xian strong. Because they all know that improving the secret method is too heavy for their own. If they accidentally lose the source, I am afraid that the gain will outweigh the loss for life, so not many people in the ranks of the secret method and the fighting gods will use it. Haha, Brother Xiaoyan, you don't know something. There are rumors about this evil pharmacist in our Ghost King city. And this mad magic pill is his proud work. To tell you the truth, the effect of this mad magic pill is under the 3-star fighting spirit. After taking it, there will be an hour's increase in strength, and the degree of improvement is even more staggering. It can raise a whole major rank. If your 2-star Do Xian is consummated, after taking it, you will have an hour's 3-star Do Xian consummation power. And the best effect of the mad magic pill is that it will not affect the source. Although you will fall into weakness for a month after taking it, it will not affect your cultivation path. It made countless people jealous. Qing Wen said slowly, his voice full of heat. It turns out that there is such an effect. Xiao Yan heard that, but he was quite looking forward to it. Brother Xiao Yan, this medicinal pill is very valuable, but I must get it. After all, in our Ghost King city, the relationship between our Qing family and the Yu family has reached an extremely dangerous level. With this pill, our Qing family can protect ourselves. The next moment, Qing Wen's pupils showed a very sincere look. Breath. Brother Qing can take this medicinal pill and take it. Xiao Yan also said with a slight smile. He had already obtained enough things. Although Xiao Yan, the mad demon pill, was also quite tempted, he could only give up his love. Then the document means that the entire Qing family would like to thank Brother Xiao Yan. If Brother Xiao Yan doesn't dislike it, you can go back to Ghost King City with me after you break through to the immortal battle. It just so happens that a large auction is about to be held in Ghost King City. Qing Wen gently put away the mad devil pill and said immediately. All right. Xiao Yan heard the words and slowly agreed. He naturally knew that Qing Wen's words meant something to win over him, but when he first came to the ramp, he also provoked the Yu family. He went to Qing's house. Also a good choice. The next step is to absorb the corpse pill and break through the Emperor Do. Qing Wenwen smiled slowly after hearing this. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 1133. The next step is to devour the corpse pill and advance to Do Di. Qing Wen's laughter slowly echoed in the entire pill hall. Brother Qing, please. When Xiao Yan heard the words, he naturally laughed together. Since the 3 treasure chests have already been obtained, it would be of little use to stay here. Go out first. After Qing Wen finished speaking, he left the sunken ground and returned to the pill hall. Qinger has already started. The two of them had just left the sunken ground, and immediately looked at the wall to the side. Circles of white mist covered Qinger's body, but a tyrannical aura emerged. Brother Xiao Yan, breaking through Do Xian is by no means a child's play, but I believe you will succeed. After Qing Wen finished speaking, he went straight to the rear, obviously planning to break through Do Di. Well, let me start too. The Do Qi in the Do Qi Sea has already been compressed by the flame beasts ahead of time. Next, I just need to swallow the corpse pill to obtain the huge power, so as to condense the Do core. Crossing the immortal tribulation, it's the real breakthrough Do Di, turned into Do Xian. Xiao Yan muttered. It's right here. Xiao Yan walked around, deliberately choosing a place not far from Qing Wen and Qinger, and then sat cross-legged directly. Fire! Soul power! Just after choosing a place, Xiao Yan suddenly shouted. The dazzling flame power and soul power formed 2 extremely huge enchantments around Xiao Yan, wrapping Xiao Yan in them. With the dual isolation barrier of holy flame power and soul power, you should be able to break through with confidence. Xiao Yan said with a smile. Xiao Yan had no choice. After all, when breaking through, he would definitely use holy flame power, so for the sake of be careful, still do it like this. After all, Sheng Yan's attractiveness is no small matter. Xiao Yan doesn't want to expose it easily. Battle Qi Group. Corpse Pill. Xiao Yan shouted, and just after the voice fell, the fist-sized Do Qi mass compressed by the flame beast appeared directly in front of Xiao Yan, and the corpse pill that contained enough Xiao Yan to break through the Do Emperor also appeared. A Du He is something that has a sea of Do Qi. Even though my current Do Qi sea is empty. Xiao Yan muttered. Boy. Don't do it. In your Battle Qi Sea, there are not only flaming beasts, but also the source power of 2 holy flame crystals, and even the battle spirit. The Soul Eater said, Fighting Soul? If it wasn't for what you said, Senior, I'm afraid I forgot. If I devoured the fighting spirit after being promoted to Do Immortal, I'm afraid I can reach the late stage of 1-star Do Immortal or even complete. Xiao Yan couldn't help but burst into ecstasy. Boy, you can't chew too much, because of the power of holy flame. You went from the 7-star Do Emperor to the 1-turn 9-star Do Emperor, and then directly to the peak of the Do Emperor, so I don't recommend that you break through the Do Xian by devouring the Do Soul. Your power has an ethereal feeling. After breaking through Do Xian, you should stabilize first and then devour Do Soul, otherwise it will have a big impact on your future. And the power of your fighting spirit should not be underestimated. According to my guess, when you cultivate to the middle stage of 1-star fighting immortal, you can devour it. After swallowing, it is enough to completely advance to 2-star fighting immortal. The Lord of Soul Eater said, "Senior's words are true, but I'm too impatient." Xiao Yan also suppressed some of the thoughts in his heart when he heard the words. Obviously, Soul Eater's analysis was right. Now that you are ready, let's start. I can't help you on your way to the road to fighting immortals. You still have to rely on you to carry it all over. The Soul Eater said lightly. Hearing this, Xiao Yan nodded immediately, then waved it casually, and the corpse pill containing huge energy suddenly came into his hands. This guy is really perverted. 3 holy flames, fighting spirit and wood genus Xing. If I meet some old guys later, I can say that Xiao Yan is my disciple. I always feel that this kid's achievements in the future will not be low. No, I have to take advantage of this guy's growth and teach him to be my disciple. After my Soul Eater will also have a lot of face, hee. The Lord of Souls said in a slow and deep voice in the bottom of his heart. Let's get started, Xiao Yan said in a deep voice, and then without hesitation, a bluish-yellow holy flame suddenly emerged from the palm of his hand, wrapping it around the corpse pill. Shabu shabu. The power of the holy flame is so powerful, it just burned to the corpse pill, and a thick smoke burst out from the corpse pill, as if it had encountered an incomparably powerful enemy. This thick smoke is a good thing. Don't waste it. Seeing this, Xiao Yan took a breath, and the thick smoke was immediately absorbed into Xiao Yan's body. At that time, the black and white life and death power in Xiao Yan's body slowly became the whole body. Bright up, constantly squirming, constantly blending. This little power is not enough. The next moment, Xiao Yan felt that the power contained in the thick smoke just made the power of life and death in his body blend a little, and then he spoke. Reaching the peak of Do Di, the power of life and death of black and white is close to a perfect blend, but if you want to break through Do Di, this level is not enough. You must blend the force of life and death perfectly, so as to give birth to the power of Do Xian that belongs to you. Only then can it be called a real fighting immortal. Gulu. Not long after, seeing that some of the dust on the outermost layer of the corpse pill had fallen off, Xiao Yan also swallowed it regardless of the 3721. Boom! As soon as he swallowed the corpse pill, a force of tyrannical force emerged from the corpse pill slowly, and then flowed towards his body and limbs. The reason why Xiao Yan used the power of holy flame to burn the corpse pill was to filter the corpse qi and other impurities in the corpse pill, so as to consume the purest power. The smoke is the corpse gas of the corpse pill. Boom boom boom. The corpse pellet filtered by Xiao Yan had just poured into Xiao Yan's body, and a tyrannical force suddenly erupted, making Xiao Yan's body a little overwhelmed. The power of life and death. Melt it for me. Seeing that all the limbs in his body were nearly saturated with the power of absorbing corpse pills, Xiao Yan also launched a final attack on the power of life and death. Oh! Just after he finished speaking, a scream came from Xiao Yan's mouth. Bang bang bang! The huge power contained in the corpse pill directly shook Xiao Yan's power of life and death violently. Is not very pleasant. At this time, Xiao Yan had to endure the continuous explosion generated by the fusion of the power of life and death and the impact of the huge energy of the corpse pill. His eyes were red, his teeth were clenched, and the pain was pouring into his face, and his expression was extraordinary. Serious. I am dignified, Emperor Yan. How can I be afraid that you will not be able to live and die? For Lao Su, let the horse come over. Xiao Yan said word by word, his voice filled with a rebellious aura that was fearless. Boom boom boom. Under the violent impact of the corpse pill, the power of life slowly merged, showing the transformation of black and white color into fiery red color, but in this space, with the power of black and white every time fusion, a tragic cry also emerged. Continuing from the previous episode 1134. In the space surrounded by the power of blue-yellow holy flame, a man full of black and asterisk beams kept screaming, obviously quite miserable. Damn, damn. Xiao Yan clenched his teeth, trying not to let himself scream, but every time a huge force emerged from the corpse pill to impact life and death, the pain that went deep into the bone marrow and even the soul, Xiao Yan was shocked. Crash! And after the time passed, it was 3 days. For 3 days, Xiao Yan was suffering from this inhuman torture all the time. If it wasn't for the protection of the holy flame, Xiao Yan would have already passed out from this high-intensity pain. But what Xiao Yan didn't expect was that every time he was close to the limit, blue flames burst out from his heart like rainbows after rain, constantly nourishing his body and even repairing his own injury. Xiao Yan knew that this was what Mu Yingying did, but Mu Yingying had already turned into Xiao Yan's heart at this time. This move was obviously instinctive. 3 days. It's time to succeed. Xiao Yan temporarily suppressed other thoughts, and then mobilized the huge source of blue-yellow holy flame in his body to directly attack the corpse pill for the last time. Boom boom boom. Under Xiao Yan's control, the source power of the blue-yellow holy flame went directly to the corpse pill in the body. The energy contained in the corpse pill is worthy of being praised as a treasure that is enough to help the strong Do Di break through the Do Di. Even in 3 days, with the refining level of Xiao Yan's burning Ju, it is still not completely refined. The corpse pill at this time, about the size of a fingertip, is undoubtedly several times smaller than 3 days ago, and Xiao Yan's purpose is to completely refine the last power of the corpse pill, so as to make his own power of life and death that is almost fused successfully. Go one step further, the fusion of life and death, the achievement of fighting immortals. Death to this emperor. Xiao Yan just found the corpse pill, and then used the power of the source of the blue-yellow holy flame to wrap it up. And the corpse pill did not have any intention of escaping, so Xiao Yan was allowed to wrap it like this. Following Xiao Yan's blue-yellow flames, the last trace of the corpse pill's power, at a speed visible to the naked eye, slowly turned into a circle of colorless and transparent power, which was swallowed by the blue-yellow holy flame, and the blue-yellow holy flame was directly swallowed by the blue-yellow holy flame. After this tyrannical power, it suddenly became violent. The power of life and death. Give it to this emperor. At this time, Xiao Yan saw that all the power of the corpse pill had been swallowed up by himself, and victory was just ahead. He couldn't help roaring. At this time, the power of life and death is no longer black and white, but a milky white with a faint power of black and white. Xiao Yan knew that only with the help of the last bit of the corpse pill's power to dissipate the black and asterisk in the power of life and death and turn it into a true milky white, the fusion of the fighting core can be carried out. In this last step, success is a breakthrough, and failure is irreversible. Boom boom boom. As Xiao Yan's bluish-yellow flame containing huge energy was injected into the power of life and death, the last trace of black and asterisk that only existed in the power of life and death burst out with a strong resistance. That feeling, as if the force of life and death is telling, "We have helped you for so long, yet you actually destroy us like this." Crash! However, Xiao Yan didn't pay any attention to it, guarding his mind. The dazzling power kept pouring in, obliterating it. And within a few breaths of time, the remaining power of black and white, like a heavy rain, quickly faded away. Ha ha ha! When Xiao Yan saw this scene, he couldn't help laughing and said, at this time, Xiao Yan's fighting qi no longer had any power of life and death, but a milky white color, without any nature. This is the first step of condensing the bucket core, which is the perfect fusion of the power of life and death. Only when the force of life and death is perfectly integrated can the bucket core be condensed. After the bucket core is condensed, its own attribute color can be born. At that time, the milky white light was there will be colors, and it can be called the power of fighting immortals. The next step is the most difficult step. Condense the Do core, Xiao Yan said in a deep voice, and then slowly approached the milky white pseudo-Do Xian's power and the compressed Do Qi group before. Although these two groups have the same fighting spirit, their nature is different. The Do Qi group is impressively formed by the compression of all Do Qi during Xiao Yan's Do Di period. Don't underestimate the size of a mere fist, but its power is probably not dared to be underestimated by the strongest Do Di peak. And the milky white light formed by just combining the power of life and death is the power of the pseudo-Dushan. Only after the core of the battle is condensed, can the attributes of their respective colors be born. I hope there will be no accident. Xiao Yan said slowly. After speaking, the huge soul force was immediately mobilized, and he went towards the gorgeous fighting chi ball. Wang Om! The gorgeous Do Chi group seemed to notice Xiao Yan's actions, and immediately started to squirm like crazy, trying to escape Xiao Yan's claws. You were originally part of me, and now, it's time to return to your place. After all, this place was enveloped by Xiao Yan's holy flame's power barrier, and no matter how the gorgeous Do Chi group escaped, it still couldn't escape Xiao Yan's palm. Death to this emperor! Xiao Yan shouted loudly, and the gorgeous Do Chi group was like a deflated balloon, slowly being enveloped by Xiao Yan's flaming giant hand. Give me in! Seeing to capture the gorgeous Do Chi ball, Xiao Yan did not hesitate at all, and directly suppressed it with the power of the holy flame and the soul power, sending it into the Do Chi Sea. Wang buzzing! Just as the splendid Do Chi group was sent into Xiao Yan's Do Chi Sea, an extremely strong resistance erupted, but Xiao Yan could smell a strange fire from it. The power of the fake Do Xian. It's your turn. Seeing the gorgeous Do Chi mass blending into the sea of Do Chi, Xiao Yan then turned his eyes to the milky white and nearly transparent pseudo Do Xian power in front of him. Peefed! The power of the fake Do Xian did not hold back at all, allowing Xiao Yan to easily control it, and in just a short moment, it merged into the sea of Do Chi. Do Chi group. The power of pseudo Do Xian. Only when you are fully integrated can you condense the core of the battle. Xiao Yan murmured as he looked at the battle chi *** that jumped up and down in the battle chi sea and the quiet pseudo Dushan power. Give it to me. The next moment Xiao Yan shouted loudly, and in the empty sea of fighting chi, blue-yellow flames swept out everywhere, whistling away at the power of the second group. With such an appearance, it is astonishingly trying to force the power of the second regiment to one place, so as to compress and condense the core. Boom boom boom! Looking at Xiao Yan's battle, the gorgeous Do Chi group seemed to sense the danger, and the gorgeous flames also radiated out to resist the erosion of the blue-yellow flames. In the splendid Do Chi mass, there is indeed the smell of strange fire, but the strange fire, under the power of the holy flame, is like a moth fighting a fire, and it is instantly extinguished. Wrong for Ben D. Xiao Yan couldn't help laughing as he watched the blue-yellow flames force the second group's strength into a space of about 1 meter. Boom boom boom! At this time, the gorgeous Do Chi group was like a frying pan, wriggling crazily. The power of the fake Do Xian. Swallow it for me. Just when the gorgeous Do Chi group became crazy, Xiao Yan let out a loud shout, and the milky white light group immediately swallowed it. Boom! The gorgeous Do Chi group was swallowed up by the power of the pseudo Do Xian, and immediately charged wildly in the body of the pseudo Do Xian, trying to break through the bondage. I won't give you such a chance. The power of double flames, suppress me. Xiao Yan smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth. Among the two holy flame crystals, a pool of cyan liquid and khaki liquid slowly attacked them away. At this moment, the combination of the gorgeous Do Chi group and the power of the pseudo Do Xian turned into a brilliant light spot, and many transformations took place slowly, and once this transformation was completed, it also symbolized the time when Xiao Yan broke through the Do Emperor.